Welcome, everyone. We are so excited to be here, and we really appreciate you joining us for the next hour to learn about the Western Canada MedTech sector. My name is Wendy Hurlbert, and I'm the President and CEO of Life Sciences BC. And on behalf of Life Sciences BC and Bio Alberta and the Bioscience Organization of Manitoba, we are pleased to host our delegation, and along with us have 7 companies who are going to tell you about what they're up to. Western Canada has an amazing medtech sector. It's thriving on so many levels. And what you're going to see today is really just a sample of some of the really exciting innovation that is happening in this area of the world. But before we get started, I have an important statement that I'd like to read off, and then we will go and start learning about the companies. So these presentations contain forward-looking statements which are made pursuant to the safe harbor provisions of the U.S. Securities Litigation Reform Act of 1995. All right, to start, we have Axolotl Biosciences. The CEO, Stephanie Willarth, is going to kick off our session and tell us about Axolotl. Stephanie?
All right, thank you, Wendy and Ryan, for inviting me to talk. Let me just share my slides and we'll get going. So I'm here today to talk about my company, Axolotl Biosciences, which is a spin-out of my research laboratory. I work at the University of Victoria, where I'm a full professor and Canada Research Chair in Biomedical Engineering, and my research lab focuses on engineering neural tissue from stem cells. And some of the technology we have developed in my laboratory, we've spun off into our company, Axolotl Biosciences, whose goal is to enable the 3D printing of humanized tissue. Our company incorporated in March 2020. We have 2 co-founders, along with myself, including my recent PhD graduate, Dr. Laura De La Vega, and one of our biomedical engineering undergraduates, Lila Abelseth. We also currently have 5 full-time staff, including a production manager, a co-op, and a business manager, and some other staff we're currently onboarding. We have raised over 1.1 million in competitive grant funding to take some of our 3D bioprinting technology to commercialization, along with $200,000 approximately in salary support from a variety of sources, including Innovate BC, NRC IRAP, as well as BioTalent Canada. So the main problem we're trying to address with Axolotl Biosciences and our mission is to help expedite the process of drug discovery and development. It costs approximately $2.6 billion and around 12 years to take a pharmaceutical drug to market, mainly due to the fact that current preclinical tools for drug discovery, which include animal models and humanized tissue, aren't very accurate at predicting the efficacy and safety of different drug targets. Accordingly, over 90% of the neurological drugs entering clinical trials fail. And for those of you who are familiar with these things, diseases like Alzheimer's and multiple sclerosis and Parkinson's really lack true cures. So there's really a need to have better preclinical models so we can get a better success rate of getting these drugs into the clinic where they can actually be effective. And the way our company has chosen to address this is through the field of 3D bioprinting. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with traditional 3D printing, where you usually have a 3D CAD file that's taken and used by the bioprinter to extrude essentially a plastic polymer in the shape that the CAD file specifies. 3D bioprinting is similar, except that instead of using a plastic to print a hard, solid object, we actually use specialized inks called bioinks in combination with things like cells and stem cells and drug delivery in order to print structures that resemble humanized tissue. And then the end goal would be to use these humanized tissues as a tool for drug screening. Our initial product that's currently in beta testing is a novel versatile bioink that enables us to print neural tissues derived from human pluripotent stem cells. And you can read about this. We've published 5 papers about the effectiveness of our initial product. And what distinguishes us from our competitors is our ink really enables our tissues to have high levels of cell viability as well as function. So we can actually print neural tissues that recapitulate the chemical and electric signals that you'd find typical in neural tissue. We do have a patent that we filed in Canada, the US, China, and the EU that protects some of our bioink formulations, particularly any of our specialized inks that use drug-releasing compounds to specify what the stem cells inside of our ink become in terms of tissue. And so we're looking forward to then further expanding our product line to include specialized inks for printing specifically brain tissue and spinal cord injury, hopefully to have these to market by early next year. In terms of our beta testing program, we currently have our ink out with 6 different beta testing groups. We have 3 academic groups, including a group at the University of Texas, El Paso that's using our novel inks to print cardiac tissue, as well as 2 different groups at UBC that are, again, evaluating our ink for a variety of different purposes. In terms of industrial partners who are looking forward to potentially licensing our bioinks for distribution, we do have material transfer agreements with CellInk, who's the largest global 3D bioprinting company, Brinter, who's a Finnish bioprinting company that sells their unique 3D printer, as well as Precision Technologies, who handles distribution in the Far East, including Singapore and China. So with all of that, I think it's really an exciting time in the field of 3D bioprinting, especially using this as a tool for drug discovery. And if you're interested in learning more, we're always happy to partner with people, both in terms of corporate partners looking for talent, as well as potentially investment. And you can see at the bottom is my contact info. So if you require any more information, please reach out to me at willarth@axolotlbiosciences.com. And thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Stephanie. That is super, super exciting. And I look forward to hearing more about this over the next coming months. Our next presentation is Myviva, and Laureen Wales, the CEO, is going to join us to tell us about Myviva. Laureen?
Thank you, Wendy, for that introduction. Thank you for having me today. I am just going to share my screen. All right. So my name is Laureen Wales, CEO of Revive Wellness and Myviva. Myviva is a digital healthcare company born out of the clinical experience of the Revive Wellness healthcare team, and we are on a mission to improve the trajectory of health outcomes and spending in Canada and beyond. Whether it's preventing or treating obesity, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, or simply assisting with general healthy lifestyle habits, we help individuals get engaged and take control of their health. Myviva Plan is personalized healthcare, providing digital programming and daily support to help individuals manage their lifestyle behaviors, including mental health, nutrition, and fitness habits. Government, private payers, businesses, and individuals are faced with the problems of high cost, low productivity, and poor health outcomes. And when you start peeling the layer of onion away, we know that 80% of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and over 40% of cancers could be prevented by the lifestyle choices each of us make on a daily basis. To put it simply, there is no substitution for self-care. If we look at the current landscape of health in North America, it's really obvious that we're struggling. We recognize that behavior change is challenging, but we believe as healthcare professionals, it's our job to help figure out innovative ways to get individuals excited and engaged in their health, and technology is helping us do just that. Our newest technology addition is our augmented reality buddy called Yarrow, and we're really excited to be introducing him to Canadians in October for beta testing. Yarrow will help Canadians build resilience using cognitive behavioral therapy strategies to do their daily reflections. Engaging individuals in their health, providing them daily support using digital personalized treatment, and using integrated treatment approaches is how we plan on improving health outcomes, reducing costs, and improving overall productivity. I look forward to, if you're looking at wanting to connect further, my contact information is listed here. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Laureen, Very exciting. I am now going to ask Matt Hodgkin, who is the co-founder of Outbreaker Solutions, to tell us about what is happening at Outbreaker. Matt?
Yeah, thanks so much, Wendy, for hosting us today. So my name is Matt Hodgkin. I'm co-founder of Outbreaker Solutions. And our company is researching and developing the world's fastest acting antimicrobial surface, antimicrobial compressed sodium chloride. Now, after all, most infections are spread by our hands. We usually come in contact with a contaminated surface. Then, because we're just bad at it, we keep touching our faces. We can't seem to keep our fingers out of our noses and mouths. That's how pathogens enter our body. We get an infection, and it kind of continues this really vicious cycle. Therefore, our company is trying to eliminate the spread of these pathogens on commonly touched surfaces. And that's what our solution is. It's antimicrobial CSC, or compressed sodium chloride. We take regular salt, transform the properties, then apply it to commonly touched items like push plates, door handles, hospital bed rails, IV poles, and other similar fixtures. It's patented in 9 countries around the world, and we just prevent the spread of these pathogens on commonly touched items. Now, the field of antimicrobial surfaces is generally fairly new, and there really hasn't been a high impact solution. We want to offer that one solution. So what sets our product apart really comes down to 4 main features. First is speed. In order to be an effective antimicrobial surface, you need to be very fast acting. Our product, CSC, achieves a 99.9% reduction in pathogens in just 2 minutes, and the majority of this reduction actually occurs in the first few seconds. This is compared to something like copper, which takes 2 hours to get that reduction. Second, it's just salt, so it's very safe. It's been proven safe at every level. You've consumed it the last 24 hours yourself. It's also very available and an accessible raw material. That results in an affordable end product. And lastly, perhaps most importantly, in terms of an infection prevention solution, it's passive, meaning there's no behavior change or training or human intervention required for the product to actually work. Once it's installed, it provides this continuous antimicrobial effect. Even something as simple as a hand sanitizer dispenser requires this continuous interaction because you need to refill it. And if you're like me, there's no worse feeling than publicly touching a hand sanitizer dispenser and it's empty and now your hand is thoroughly contaminated. So wouldn't it be great if even something like that was an antimicrobial surface? Now, we have quite a robust research program. We are a resident company in the University of Alberta Health Accelerator at Tech Center Labs in downtown Edmonton. This has allowed us to really develop our own microbiology research program. So I want to quickly touch on the actual mechanism that's at play when salt is killing these pathogens. So of course, there's the more commonly known methods like dehydration, where water is actually being drawn out of the cells, and even denaturation to a certain extent. But one of the more exciting, newer discovered mechanisms is something called recrystallization. So this was discovered in a 2017 paper using microscopy. What it actually showed was when a pathogen, usually encased in a droplet, lands on a little bit of salt, it dissolves and then very rapidly dries and recrystallizes. And it's actually this recrystallization that physically tears the cell apart in a very violent and effective way. And it's kind of through this combination that makes our product very fast acting. Now, this is a visual representation of just how fast acting our surface is. So along the top is our surface, compressed sodium chloride, and then down the side, it's stainless steel, copper, and plastic. Now, each of these different samples was inoculated with 8.6 million colony-forming units of E. coli. Then we took an agar plate and stamped it at the certain time points listed along the top. So as quick as 2 and 5 seconds, and then on the right is 2 and 10 minutes. And what we see is a huge reduction in the amount of bacteria that are actually picked up after being placed on our surface. So on the 2 and 5 second point, you can see a drastic reduction in the pathogens compared to the other surfaces. And then as we look at the 2 and 10 minute time points, our surface is effectively sterile, which is really unheard of in this antimicrobial space. This is compared to steel, copper, plastic, which are pretty much indistinguishable at these time points. This is an example of one of our prototypes of a simple push plate. We'll be piloting this product this fall with different partner sites around Edmonton. This will be one of our first commercially available products as well. We also have SARS-CoV-2 research underway. So earlier this year, we won a COVID-19 Innovation Challenge from Roche Canada. That's allowed us to get some virus research underway in partnership with the virology team at the University of Alberta. They're actually testing clinical samples from people's throats of the novel coronavirus. The research team is first looking at RNA damage, and then they're now moving on to the cytopathic effect. So we're hoping to make some exciting announcements in this very soon. Of course, here's a few ways to get a hold of us, and I look forward to connecting with you at the MedTech conference.
Thank you very much, Matt. Very timely innovation with the interesting times that we're living in. The next speaker is Pierre Lemaire, and he is the CEO of Kent Imaging. Pierre?
Thank you very much, Wendy. It's my pleasure today to introduce you to Kent Imaging. We are in the business of developing a medical device that images tissue. And we're in a market that has been underserved when it comes to technology. It's a market where knowing when to treat and how to treat a wound is very significant in terms of outcome. So if I move and talk a little bit about the most important aspect of healing is oxygen. And diabetes in the elderly, we'll see 1 in 4 diabetics developing a foot ulcer. And of these, a quarter won't heal. They'll cause severe tissue and bone damage, and it ends up with an amputation. And this scenario is where 80% of diabetic amputations begin. And these aren't great odds, and unfortunately, 4 in 10 lower limb amputees won't survive a year. So it's a big problem. And when we look at a mastectomy, this is a terrifying but a life-saving procedure for a woman. And in the perfect world, once that operation is complete, we move the patient out of harm and to move towards a more brighter future. But unfortunately, 15 to 20% of breast reconstruction procedures lead to necrosis. And we can do much better than that. And it's really an understanding oxygen and how oxygen is available in the microvascular vessels, which is key to healing, is really important. So physicians have tried a lot of different options to understand what's happening. And we've come up with a novel solution. It was actually developed at the National Research Council in Winnipeg, and we're commercializing the solution. It's very easy to use. It's accurate. You can see here the 2 hands showing you the size of the device. The click of a button using near infrared light and the reflective properties of hemoglobin to different wavelengths of light, we can unmix those signals and provide an image and quantitative measurements for the physician to understand what's happening in the microvascular. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. So here in reconstructive surgery, you see 3 images. On the left, this is what the surgeon will see during the surgery. So here they've taken a flap from the abdomen and tried to inset it to reconstruct the breast. And looking at the tissue, it would look fine, and you wouldn't know whether or not this would go on to healing. But if you see the second picture, that very clearly we have blue inset, which is indication of poor oxygenation, which is typical in that part of the breast. And so in this particular case, the physician removed that potentially ischemic tissue and re-imaged again during surgery and saw that this was going to go on to heal. And indeed, this patient went on to a good outcome. And so because of the simplicity of the technology, it can be used by every surgeon in order to better understand whether or not a reconstructive tissue is going to go on to heal. If we look at another case, in this, here we're looking at a vascular surgeon trying to support critical limb ischemia and prevent a patient to go on to have an amputation. And here you can see the image pre and the image post the vascular intervention. It's very clear that the vessel that was blocked, that was cleared, and we have very nice oxygenated foot that you see here indicated by the bright red in this picture. And this is really important because we hear this quote here from Dr. Neville at Myviva Health: 50% of amputees never get an arterial angiogram. And what's really important is this technology can help wound care docs make an assessment of whether or not they should refer a patient to vascular therapy and get that intervention. So we're very excited about how this technology, because of how easy it is to use and the understanding that it's providing to physicians of what's happening in the microvascular, how it could really affect healthcare and change outcomes, really improve outcomes. So our team is in Calgary. We're a very experienced team of professionals. This product has been installed in the US and Canada in over 100 sites. We're working with the top key opinion leaders in those markets. And this is with diabetes on the rise and an aging population. This is a global problem, and our product can bring value basically around the world. So from Calgary, we see that we can bring significant value in improving health outcomes. If you want to learn more, you can reach out to me at pierre@kentimaging.com, and you can also go to our website, www.kentimaging.com. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you very much, Pierre. That's really amazing to see. As you say, it's a big need. I'd now like to call upon Mark Edwards, the CEO of Kane Biotech, to join us. Thank you. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you very much for having us. This is great. Let me share my screen here quickly. So Kane is we're a publicly listed company. We're specialized in the discovery and development of technologies that prevent and disperse microbial biofilms. Pierre just talked to us about wounds, but essentially where biofilms are also a big problem. Essentially, you'll have bacteria that can either be planktonic or free-floating or attached to a surface. And if it's attached to a surface, it will have used a biofilm to do that. Now, biofilms are essentially a glue that make it very difficult to remove the bacteria from a surface, and also act as a bit of a shield, not a bit of a shield, but make them up to 1,000 times more resistant to antibiotics and antibacterials. We're based out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Go Jets. We have 18 people on our team, 6 PhDs, 51 different patents. We're in the process of getting our ISO 13485 certification. I've been the CEO for the last 2 years and really assembled a world-class team. And we're in the process of creating 3 commercialization vehicles, which will focus on the 3 main areas of development that we're going after. So first is animal health. We've been operating in animal health for a few years now. We're looking at consumer goods, so products such as shampoos and nasal rinses and so on, and then in the wound care and surgical space. Biofilms, everywhere you have bacteria attaching to surface, you'll have a biofilm problem. So whether it be in human health, animal health, even industrial applications, oil and gas pipelines will have biofilms which will cause them to rust and leak. And even plants will get choked with biofilm, and you'll have issues with different crops. Unfortunately, today, the solutions to biofilms are overly reliant on antibiotics or very toxic, which are 2 big problems. As we move forward, our objective is really to partner with market leaders in each industry to bring to and really partner. And that's why I thought this MedTech conference was particularly interesting for us, where we're looking to bring to market a deep portfolio of anti-biofilm technologies, and there's tons of applications for our technologies. Currently, we're focused on 2 main products. So our Coactive Plus patent, which is a patented combination of super preservatives. They're all grass ingredients, which make the regulatory route fairly straightforward. And then we've got our Dispersin B enzyme, which we've licensed from Rutgers School of Dentistry in New Jersey. And if you look up Dispersin B, it's really the signature anti-biofilm technology that other technologies measure themselves against. As we move forward, we're looking at in animal health, we've got a full line of oral care products. We've just launched a skincare product, and we're looking at wound care, canine otitis, and other products. We're finalizing a deal with a strategic partner for them to take an equity stake in our animal health business, and that'll really accelerate the development there. Where I'm most excited is through the wound care and surgical. We're developing a Dispersin B hydrogel. So dispersin B dissolves the biofilm, makes the bacteria planktonic, and makes them up to 1,000 times easier to kill. For the development of this technology, we've gotten a $2.7 million US grant from the US Department of Defense and a $3.8 million interest-free loan for 9 years from Western Economic Diversification. And we're already talking to different strategic partners. We've done a number of consumer tests on our OTC products, and with some very, very promising results. So definitely looking for a partner there as well. Just a brief overview of the non-dilutive funding we've gotten for our wound care hydrogel. So it's a quick overview with everything we've got going on, but if anybody's interested in getting in touch, they can find our contact information right here.
Thank you, Mark. That was great.
Thank you, Wendy.
We are now going to move to Cerebra Health, and I'm going to ask Dawson Reimer to join. Dawson?
Thanks, Wendy. Hi, Cerebra is another Winnipeg-based company, yes, go Jets, that's improving lives by changing the way the world looks at sleep. We're also proud to be one of 4 Canadian companies selected to present as part of the showcase at this year's MedTech conference. Poor sleep's a global health concern carrying a huge cost. Unfortunately, since you can't manage what you can measure, the sleep industry has been working in the dark. Everything from pills for narcosis to CPAPs are offered as if one size fits all. Clinicians are treating sleep without even measuring it. So it's probably not surprising that a third of all CPAPs worth over $1 billion a year are ending up in the closet. Like trying to solve hypertension without knowing blood pressure, care can't move forward without an objective metric of sleep itself. While EEG is the gold standard source for sleep, its analysis really is still struggling. The manual methods used in the 60s are still used today. It's labor intensive, but results in a report that is so crude and simplistic, it misses the dynamics of sleep and offers very little value for clinical care. To make matters worse, the only place it's collected, which is a sleep lab, interferes with sleep. And around the world, wait lists are often long, a problem that's now exacerbated by COVID. Cerebra has solved EEG analysis by offering the first objective metric of sleep depth. Our patented metric unlocks the ability to personalize care and makes labeled sleep data feasible across a spectrum of clinical and consumer applications. The ability to measure sleep introduces a number of diagnostic applications, and for sleep apnea, a respiratory condition that dominates the industry, thanks in large part to the sale of CPAP devices, our metric brings an objective approach to optimizing care based on the patient's sleep. In insomnia, the most common sleep condition, we offer the ability to quantify sleep drive, offering the first objective test for this common but poorly understood condition. These are really just the tip of the iceberg. Cerebra is already positioned as a world leader in the field of digital sleep analysis, with leading researchers applying our metrics to a host of conditions, resulting in validation of the metrics as well as new discoveries that are gaining attention in top journals and conferences. To enable clinical use for sleep diagnosis, Cerebra has created an integrated diagnostic platform. Our unique self-applied hardware brings clinical quality analysis out of the lab and into the home, paving the way for accessible, cost-effective care, which we offer through home care companies and sleep labs currently here in Canada. Our sleep diagnostic software delivers our advanced metrics while also supporting and reducing the cost of conventional diagnosis. And we have a web-based portal that integrates the hardware and software, supports operational workflow, and provides remote access for care providers and patients. With input from customers, we're now preparing our recurring revenue license-based solution for launch in Canada later this year, and it is this platform that we will be filing with the FDA for US launch in late 2021. The power of our metrics have been experienced by hundreds of patients since it was introduced in Canada last year. One real-life example is Bob, a 39-year-old father who thought his fatigue was normal given the strain of work and family, but his wife, who happened to be a doctor, recommended our study as soon as she heard of it. And instead of simply identifying his respiratory problem, our analytics displayed the impact that it was having directly on his sleep. Bob accepted our referral to a CPAP provider, and treatment has significantly improved his quality of life. The opportunity in sleep diagnosis is significant, with over 4.5 million studies a year in the US and an untapped opportunity for insomnia. For providers, our platform provides reduced scoring time and improved accuracy, while also offering in-home studies at a fraction of the cost of the lab. For payers, we offer the potential to save billions by identifying patients who are unlikely to tolerate CPAP. And looking beyond diagnostics, we aim to bring our SaaS sleep analytics to a variety of clinical and consumer applications. Led by a team with a breadth of experience, Cerebra is unlocking a world of opportunity and personalized care by measuring sleep where it happens, in your head and in your home. Thanks very much. Looking forward to hearing from some of you. I am available through the B2B system, as are all the others on the conference website. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Dawson. And our last presentation for today is MagnaTX, and we have Mike Cogswell here to tell us about it. Thanks, Mike, for joining us.
Hi, Wendy. Thanks. It's great to be amongst a great crew of innovative companies. So very happy to be here. Magnetics Oncology Solutions is a company that's focused on putting cancer in focus. We have designed and developed a patented technology that combines traditional radiation therapy with state-of-the-art MRI guidance for accuracy in treatment for cancer patients in radiation therapy. This is a non-invasive radiation device. So this provides surgical-like capabilities for radiation therapy patients. This allows us to give higher doses to the tumor while sparing the healthy tissues, improving overall patient outcomes and reducing side effects. You know, 1 in 4 people will get cancer in the world. It's one of the fastest growing diseases in the world, and from a host of issues that are facing the global population. 50% of all those cases receive radiation therapy. There's estimated 25 million new cases by 2035, and the World Health Organization believes that we have roughly a shortage of 9,000 machines to treat this volume of patients. This represents about a $14 billion opportunity in the radiation therapy market. What makes our device so unique is it's the first time that physicians can actually see the tumors that they're treating while they're treating. Historically, they've had to extrapolate data from X-rays and CT scans and cone beam CTs to make a decision about treatment either before the patient's on the table or look retrospectively. Our device allows the physician to treat these tumors while the patient is in the setup position, again, maximizing the dose to the tumor and sparing healthy tissues. This product has been developed over a long period with a lot of great partners. The University of Alberta has been a big part of it, as well as Alberta Health Services. We've also raised our first Series A. We have close to $35 million total invested into the product, as well as multiple generations of our prototypes. Our final version, which is the Aurora RT, is currently being installed at the Cross Cancer Center in Edmonton, where Magnetics is based. And we now have pre-orders for a number of systems globally. We're very excited that we are on track to submit this device to the FDA as well as CE in Q1 of 2021. If we can answer any additional questions for anybody, we're more than happy to go into the physics of the device, as it's pretty exciting stuff if you're a physicist, and look forward to being part of these programs in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. Very exciting. So, as You've all heard there's amazing innovation in Western Canada, and this was just a small sample. So hope these presentations have tweaked your interest. Thanks to our presenting companies who are listed on the screen right now with their contact details. From 3D printing to digital solutions using an avatar, antimicrobial solutions, tissue imaging, anti-biofilm technologies, digital sleep analysis tools, and to a non-invasive radiation system, there's clearly a lot going on in our area of the world. And we'd love to tell you more. We look forward to meeting you at the conference. Please reach out to any of us or our presenting companies through the details that are on the screen or through the conference business partnering system. And on that, on behalf of Life Sciences BC, Bio Alberta, and Bioscience Manitoba, thank you for joining us. We look forward to connecting with you at the conference or before or after. Thanks.